The pledge you're about to take is your commitment to support the United States Coast Guard Auxillary, an organization dedicated to the promotion of boating safety and providing assistance to the United States Coast Guard in the fulfillment of its civil functions. You accept this membership as a volunteer, and as a member you are charged with certain responsibilities and obligations. These include your willingness to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and its purposes, to faithfully execute your duties, and to participate in its authorized programs to the best of your ability and to the extent that time and circumstance permit. As an auxiliarist, you are to enjoy certain honors and privileges, among them wearing the auxiliary uniform and flying the auxiliary ensign. Wear the uniform neatly and correctly and fly the ensign proudly. Remember that your conduct reflects directly upon the image of both the United States Coast Guard and the auxiliary. The satisfaction you derive from your auxiliary membership will be in proportion to the level of participation in the organization's activities. The success of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary will depend upon the extent of your participation and upon the quality of the auxiliary leaders that the members elect. Will the audience please rise? If you feel you can be an active and productive member of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, and in particular Flotilla 2-1, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
George VanSyckel,
solemnly and sincerely pledge myself to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary
myself to support the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary
and its purposes, to faithfully execute my duties, and to abide by the governing policies established by the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard, and governing policies established
by the governing policies established by the United States Commandant
of the United States Coast Guard.
of the United States Coast Guard.
Congratulations, George. We welcome you. I've asked Chaplain Mark Simonson to give us a prayer of invocation on behalf of George. George will be moving forward not only in assistance to the chaplain, but the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary has rolled out a chaplaincy program for the auxiliary. And George will be pursuing his PQSs and his credentials in that matter. And George will be ultimately a spiritual support mechanism for all of us here in Flotilla 2-1. We proudly welcome George into our flotilla family, and we ask God's blessing upon him. Chaplain Simonson.
Use the podium. I invite all who wish to join me in prayer. Let us pray. God above and within, we thank you for our magnificent Maine coasts and seas. We're reminded that we are part of a planet much bigger than ourselves, and we yearn to belong, to be part of something bigger, something important and good. We thank you, God, for people like Coast Guard auxiliaries, who of their own goodwill step forward and serve to give to the greater good. We're also thankful, Lord, for the spring light and warmth beginning to return to us, and this part of the world feels really good. We're reminded that life changes and moves, that life invites us into seasons of hardship, seasons of abundance, of pruning, and of new growth. This evening we are happy to invite Flotilla 2-1's newest member, a large-hearted man with selfless desire to serve God, country, and Flotilla 2-1. Continue to bless this man, Reverend George VanSyckel, and his loved ones with your richest graces, and bless his service in the Coast Guard Auxiliary with awesome fellowship and joy. In your awesome name we pray. Amen.
Amen. George.